How's it going, everybody? Today I have for you a mono black demon deck. Demons are absurdly powerful right now in Standard, and the main reason for that is this card right here, the Unholy Annex and Ritual Chamber. So what we've got here is a creature deck that is entirely demons, including what I think is actually one of the best inclusions in this deck that I don't see everyone else using, the 3-tree Mascot. It's a 2-drop, 2/1 shapeshifter, so it counts as a demon. Its ability is that you can pay 1 and add 1 mana of any color, activate only once each turn. You can use this as a kind of mana converter for you if you need, but in this case it won't matter because we're playing entirely mono black. But what does matter is that this is a 2-drop demon. There are some other ones that you could use. I think there's like a Thraxodon or something like that, but this being a 2-drop is very nice because you can get it out the turn before playing Unholy Annex and start immediately getting the life gain benefit without having to take damage. We're also running a pretty significant amount of removal, but we're a mono black deck, so that shouldn't be surprising. We've got Cut Down, Bitter Triumph. There's a reason for this that I'll get into in just a moment. We've got a couple of Go for the Throats and Nowhere to Run to get rid of Ward and Hexproof. Going back to the Bitter Triumph, we're using this primarily to try and synergize with the Abyssal Harvester. Whenever a creature enters a graveyard, you can tap the Abyssal Harvester to exile that creature from the graveyard and put a copy of it, a token copy of it, onto the battlefield under your control, and it's a nightmare in addition to its other types. So we're using Bitter Triumph so that we can potentially discard, hopefully, a Valgavoth, but we could use it for an Archfiend, we could do it for a Bloodletter, we could do it for an opponent's creature. And to that end, we also are using Liliana of the Veil. This is another outlet that gives us the opportunity to not only ourselves discard a card, but our opponents as well. So that's something that can synergize well with the Abyssal Harvester. If you get it out early enough and start actually making use of it, it can potentially turn the tide of the game very quickly. For that reason, I am playing 3 Valgavoth. It is possible for us to hardcast this, but ideally, we end up discarding it with Lily or a Bitter Triumph and copying it with an Abyssal Harvester. We are running a playset of Archfiend of the Dross because this card is ridiculously useful. It's a 4-drop 6/6 with flying, and it is a demon, so it counts even again as a demon for the Unholy Annex. It can be played on turn 4, so even if you don't have the turn 3 or turn 2 play, we do have multiple turn 4 demons. Turn 5, we can still do the Ritual Chamber for a demon, and then late game, we've got Valgavoth, which is absolutely hard castable if we get to it. The Archfiend of the Dross does have the drawback of having 4 oil counters that it enters with. Each turn at your upkeep, you remove 1, and if there are no oil counters left on it, you lose the game. It also has an ability to where whenever a creature your opponent controls dies, they lose 2 life. We are playing 3 of the Bloodletter of Aclazotz. This is a 3 black and 1, so 4 mana cost 2/4. It has flying and is also a demon. It has an ability to where whenever your opponent would lose life during your turn, they lose twice that much life instead. I have won many games just from having one of these out on the battlefield, along with Unholy Annex, attacking with it, with another one coming into play on the same turn, and then doubling the damage of the attack, and then doubling the damage twice of the Unholy Annex. It almost does 20 damage in a single turn just from that. So, the Bloodletter of Aclazotz is fantastic. Also, it doubles, like if you attack with the Archfiend, you get 12 damage on one attack with 1 on battlefield. Not to mention the Ritual Chamber and Unholy Annex trigger after that if it's there. So a lot of synergies that work phenomenally well with that. Obviously, all of these are really big targets. Most of your demons here, with any of these 4 cards, fly. So a lot of flying potential in this deck's really fantastic. It's a good evasion technique. It gives you good blockers in most cases, too. We'll head over Unholy Annex, obviously, probably the main card that this deck is built around because it's just absurdly good. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card. If you control a demon, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life, otherwise you lose 2 life. And then Ritual Chamber, you can pay 5 and unlock this door or cast it. and create a 6/6 black flying demon creature token. And then Valgavoth, it is Valgavoth the Terror Eater, 6 and then 3 black, so it is a 9 cost, which is pretty huge. That takes a lot of effort to get in, honestly. You've got to go pretty late game for that to happen. It has Flying, Lifelink, and Ward. Sacrifice 3 non-land permanents to target it. If a card that you didn't control would be put into the graveyard, or your opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead, and during your turn you may play that card exiled with Valgavoth. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than pay for its mana. So this, essentially, all that text just is to say, if your opponent plays a card, and it would go into their graveyard, or if a creature would die that belongs to them, anything of that sort, it gets exiled under Valgavoth instead, and on your turn you can replay it using your life instead of mana. Valgavoth is a 9/9 with lifelink, so you have the opportunity to gain an absurd amount of life with it out on the battlefield, not even considering the Unholy Annex. We are also running 2 Cavern of Souls. You could up this to 3 or 4 if you really think it's necessary. 2 seems to be fine in my opinion. And then Soulstone Sanctuary, which does count as well as all creature types, so it also is a demon and can be relevant. But anyway, I have a sideboard if you want to play this in best of 3, a pretty standard removal package for control matchups, graveyard matchups, Dimir, getting rid of Kaito, a lot of removal that if you need like sacrifice removal, things like that, shouldn't be entirely necessary because we do have the Nowhere to Run, but sometimes these compare really nicely with that, especially with Liliana, to just give you a really annoying removal package that's hard to deal with. And then Deadly Cover-Up can be very relevant in those control matchups as well, just giving you the opportunity to potentially permanently remove counter spells from your opponent's deck and things as well. But I'll go ahead and start getting into games. This deck is really powerful, so I think it is actually viable to use in ranked if you want to. I'm going to be playing best of 1 in standard play, like I usually do for my videos, so that I can be a little bit more risky with my plays and mulligans. But I hope you guys enjoy this, and maybe you'll have some luck with this deck too. Okay, unfortunately our opponent does get to go first, but we have very good removal here, so I'll keep this. Looks like they're playing potentially some Izzet deck. Reenact a crime, they'll most likely be trying to pull something from the graveyard. We actually have pretty good cards here if we could get an Abyssal Harvester. I don't know how likely that is, but it could be very useful. Still no plays from our opponent. Let's go ahead and get our Cavern of Souls out on Demon just in case it becomes relevant. Well-timed explosion from our opponent allows them to draw. They don't have any need to discard to blow anything up because we haven't played anything. Let's go ahead in this case and get our Unholy Annex going. Looks like a good opportunity with our opponent only having 1 mana. Changeling does count as a demon, so it's helpful. Of course, in this case, let's go ahead and play the 3-tree mascot, see what they do. See if they react to Lily at all. Okay, Burst Lightning on the mascot. They didn't react to the Lily, though. I don't think our removal is going to be very relevant in this match. And I don't want to discard Valgavoth until I have a Abyssal Harvester. Another treasure from our opponent. We draw a card. Another land. Not really bothered by the giant being there whatsoever. Let's get a sanctuary going. I think I'm going to go ahead and use a nowhere to run here. We'll see if he wants to kill my land.
We all have things we'd rather.
We are up to 6 mana right now, which isn't the worst. Okay. I think in this case, I'll try and get me a demon going. I will discard a land, making them discard as well, and attack with our 3/3. Now we do still have mana up for Bitter Triumph here, or go for the Throat, because our Soulstone Sanctuary doesn't tap. That's a lot of tokens. Okay. Our opponent loses. I think Lily was really helpful there in helping us just empty their hand. It was removing their ability to do much. Like, in this case, they got to make a significant amount of treasure tokens, but they just don't have what they need to do with it. I can attack for 6, even more than that, actually, here, and I've got Lily ready to ultimate as well, because it's just been sitting here completely unbothered. Drawing cards, gaining life. Our opponent really didn't do anything. I guess it's impressive that they got to play Brass Bounty, but I think I don't know, I just think that they really didn't get enough value out of what they were going into compared to having demons smacking them constantly. And I could have probably played that a bit more optimally as well, but I figured animating the Soulstone Sanctuary was good enough, even if it was tapped, just to give me the opportunity to start gaining life and drawing without it hurting. So anyway, we'll go on and see if we can get another 2 matches. Okay, our opponent gets to go first, but we've got an interesting looking hand here. I'll probably keep this, I don't mind it too much. We've got some demonic councils in here, there's 2 of. It's not terribly relevant, but I may end up using this on turn 2 just to get us like a Archfiend. Looks like we've got another Rosette deck here. No? Okay. Is this... Oh, this is a gate deck. Interesting. In this case, I think I'm going to go ahead and go Harvester first. I'm surprised to see someone actually trying to do a gate deck. If they kill our Harvester, it's not really a big deal, because we have the Archfiend and the Annex out now. Okay, they just returned it to our hand. That's also not very important. I don't know if this deck runs any creatures. I've not actually seen anyone playing it yet. I think someone did upload a gate deck today, but I don't know if it was Sloth or LVD. Spelunking. At least their lands are going to enter untapped now. Okay, we're just gonna go with what? I think in this case I'm fine to just do this. It's more mana efficient. I could potentially go with the Harvester and then another Council, but... Okay, they bounced it again. In this case I don't think I need my cut downs. go ahead and go Harvester. I'm going to try and get 2 of them in play. It'll be a lot harder to bounce that. I have to assume the opponent's probably getting close to having what they want, though, right? They have Judgment. That's pretty disappointing. Up to 7 mana here. Let's just grab another Harvester. Witnesses, so another board wipe. With me being able to double spell now, they're going to have a pretty hard time bouncing things. And we're 1 mana off from Valgavoth. Temporary lockdown doesn't do much. Okay, he was able to use his last card, which was Get Lost, to get rid of our Harvester. He's going to need board wipes now, though, to deal with Valgavoth. Okay. So, I mean, I understand what he was going for here. I think there's a card called Maze's End or something like that when you've assembled all of the gates. It looks like they had a pretty good number of them. I don't know if this is all of them, but they were just... I mean, they were stalling for time until they could get to it, and I understand that. I was going to basically kill them this turn, though. So, I mean, it was interesting. I have to imagine they were close if they were just trying to get that Maze's End card or something along those lines, but... I think they could probably use some like ill-timed explosions and stuff like that instead of like no witnesses and Day of Judgment, so that they can get some card draw going as well. But I don't know. I've not played that deck. I'll have to look into the video for it that whoever put it up today. But let's see if we can get game 3. Okay, we've got a pretty okay looking opening hand here, so I'll keep, and we get to go first, which is nice. Okay, already back to us. Do need another land. Opponent is also on swamps, maybe playing mono black. I'm happy to see the Soulstone Sanctuary, so let's get the Annex going. Another land, which is nice if we can get an Archfiend. Opponent's probably playing something similar, though, if I had to guess. What do we want to do here? I think I want to play Harvester into a cut down. We do have another cut down to finish it off, and a Lily. Ooh, and another swamp now, so we can get the 6/6 from Ritual Chamber also. They'll probably have a removal for the creature. No big surprise. Let's go ahead in this case and go with the Mascot, along with another cut down. It is a artifact, so they can't use Go for the Throat on it. Most people don't realize it's a demon also. Probably gets rid of our Lily here, I guess. And so I was right. Virtue on our Mascot, which is fine. We are going to go ahead now and go, I think, just with our Sanctuary. They may still have removal for it, but we get to go ahead and attack in with it this way. Now, this is not an artifact, so it can be hit with Go for the Throat. We do have multiple Bitter Triumphs if we want to use that to get rid of Lily.
Off you go.
I think in this case we're going to go... let's go ahead and get the Bloodletter going. We have our own Lily again now, and we can use the Demonic Council to get anything we want now. They did not decide to discard, which is pretty interesting. Let's use the Demonic Council to go and fetch an Archfiend. This way we're just forcing them to continually keep having answers.
You won't be outsmarting me.
They have their own Bloodletter, so they may be playing a very similar kind of deck. It's just not quite working out for them. Okay, we can go 5 to get our Demon, and then 2 for Bitter Triumph to get rid of their Lily.
Sorry.
Now they need yet again another answer for a Demon, and now we just drew another Archfiend. Probably again gets rid of our Lily. They've just been slowly bleeding this whole time, unable to keep up though. Okay, they played their own Lily, so we'll get rid of our Demon and we'll play another one.
Nobody knows Dominaria's shadows. Sacrifices must be made.
We actually still have 4 here, so I'll play the Bloodletter also and we'll take 4 damage. Looks like they're finished up here, so that was our 3 wins. Pretty easy. This deck is pretty competitive, because it will feel for your opponent entirely like they just need more and more and more removal and can't keep up. We did have a little help from the Demonic Council for once. I only have this as a 2-of because I feel like it's fairly irrelevant most of the time, but in this case it worked out really well to just get us another Demon, and another Demon, and another Demon, which drawing extra cards from the Unholy Annex will make that possible as well. But no matter how much removal they had, they just couldn't quite keep up. And that's what this deck is honestly good for. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, this should be fairly effective even in ranked. This Unholy Annex is like the most unfair card in Standard and should be banned. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and thanks for joining me for another video.